Welcome back to more Sip2Tally, and today we're going to talk about Keon Coleman, the wide receiver from Florida State. And before we get into the film of Keon Coleman, we're going to talk about a few of his stats, and I got a couple of sources that I went to get these stats from, and let's kind of get into it. Well, he had 50 catches for 658 yards, 13.2 catches per game, had 11 touchdowns, and he was also a punt returner for Florida State for a while. I think he had one punt return for a touchdown, but when I tell you his height and weight, him being a punt returner is really going to stand out. Also went to PFF to get his grades for the 2023 season. His offensive grade for PFF was 70.3. He had a 3.8 contested catch rate. And what they do is, jump balls, 50-50 balls, and stuff like that. They count up how many of those attempts you have versus how many you come down with. And they kind of make a percentage out of it. They divide the amount you have versus how many you come down with, and they come up with a number. So the drop percentage, in the same way with drop percentage, that's 3.8, which is good. Contested catch percentage is 33.3. He had 87 targets total, had 50 catches with a catch rate of 57.5, which is okay. It's okay. But now his height and weight, 6'4", 215. And again, being a punt returner that size, that shows you one of his strengths, and I got his strengths and weaknesses from the Draft Network, and I'll tell you what they said about him, and then we'll get into the film of Keon Coleman. And we looked at the LSU game. The LSU game was one of the tougher games that Florida State had, and that's kind of one of the ones I wanted to show you. And athleticism from the Draft Network, contested catches, high pointing the ball, natural freak. His ball skills was another strength they highlighted. Concerns for Keon Coleman. They got top end speed, which at that height and weight, you don't necessarily have to be a burner. They got route creativity. I'm going to show you a play or two that kind of goes against that, in my opinion. But I respect what they say because they do it day in, day out. I don't. I kind of freelance with it. But I respect their thing about it. But I'm going to show you a play or two that I think kind of debunks that. And lastly, what they had for him, what last was route creativity. So let's get into the film for Keon Coleman and the wide receiver from Florida State, which is a guy that I'm really high on. But the film speaks for itself because the film, then more film, is FTMF. You see it on the shirt. We in film season. Let's get it. All right, so let's get into the Keon Coleman film. And if you're not subbed already, please consider subscribing and hit that bell, so you can be notified when the rest of this draft content drops for the 2024 draft season. All right, let's get into the Keon Coleman. What I would consider one of my draft boos for the 2024 cycle. Let's start here with this first play. See him marked at the top up there with the arrow. And just look at the separation he gets. Just, that's NFL open. Now, he doesn't catch this ball, and it's high and inside. He throws an arm up there to try to get a hand on it. But I would say this is technically not his fault, and it's really not on here for the highlight. Really, the highlight is the separation. Just want to highlight, like, that's 4.5 yards of separation. We could say 5 yards, and the ball should be on him a long time ago. And if we want to get technical, really the ball should be thrown right now. The ball should be thrown out of the break. It should be on him now, but that's not his fault. But the separation he's gotten right here, that's way more than NFL open. Way more. And the ball is being thrown on him right here. That's late. That's late. Bad ball placement and everything. And it's probably too high, too far behind, and too fast for him to do anything with it. But the separation is why we're here. He creates separation like that. We'll take that. Next play. Got him in the slot right there. Change of pace. And this is the play that I talked about in the opening monologue, where I said I thought he had a little nuance to his route running. I'm gonna let it play through first without stopping it and talking about it. But just watch the pace that he changes with on this route. He's gonna start off at one speed. He's gonna kind of stutter it and do a little shimmy in the middle of the route to kind of fool the DB. And then when he gets in and out of his break, he's gonna end up wide open. Slow, slow, slow. That little jump stop, which kind of throws the DB off, and he ends up wide open. But then he gets another bad ball. Let's run it back. He's changing his pace right here. Then he gets a little jump stop to freeze the DB. The DB's flat-footed. So now he gets outside of him quickly. Gives a little stutter step inside. Now, not a stutter step, but just one jab step inside right there, which throws the DB off again. And now he's wide open. He's wide. He just needs a good ball. He's completely wide open. He has all this out here to work with. He got all that to work with. But he doesn't get a good ball. So when the ball actually comes, it's, again, inside and back toward the defender. The ball should be thrown toward the sideline, and it's not, which is not his fault. But he got open. So I'm impressed with the route. That's why I put it on here. And a lot of stuff I tried to put on these tapes, they're not highlights. It's to show what can translate to the next level. So if you're looking for just highlights, I'm sorry, this ain't it. Just want to show what, like, his route running that will translate to the next level. And I think this does that. Because he didn't catch the first two plays, he didn't catch them. But the route running was good, in my opinion. Play number 3. As an outside guy. Now, this is just a slant. And it's a slant versus off man, which every receiver should be able to run. He got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 yards of cushion already. So he should be able to run this slant in his sleep. Body catch, which ain't really the greatest. I'd rather him snag that ball with his hands. It's a little bit behind him, but I would still rather him catch that ball with the diamond. If you don't know what the diamond is, look it up. That's a hands catch. But that's not why this is on here. This is why it's on here. He's one-on-one with the safety. Watch what he does to the safety. At 6'4", 215. Whoop. Safety never even touches him. Never even touches him. Never even touches him. That's elite. You don't see a lot of guys that tall. Well, a lot of guys that tall are not that thick. No, pause. And can move like that. He's built with he's solid all the way through. And can still move with the athleticism of a smaller guy. Remember I told you he returned some punts too now for him. So he can move. And I forgot to mention also, if you don't know, his first 2 seasons was at Michigan State. He didn't play all 3 seasons at Florida State. His first 2 seasons was at Michigan State. Play 4. Coming in motion right there. And the nuance in his route running. On this one. Changing the pace again. Run the curl. Pushes him to the outside. Pushes the DB to the outside to get more room. Settles that thing down. Now, if he's the number 1 on this route, he's wide open. If he's the number 1. Now, he's not. The quarterback's not even looking at him. But I just like the separation. That's about 4 yards separation right there. So if he's the primary, wide open. I just like the route running from him. Now, is it the greatest route running I've seen? No. But from a guy that big, I like it. I like it. It shows me that he can get in and out of breaks and do what's needed to do to be the number 1 guy. And the simple adjustment, so if this was scramble drill, he ain't just stand there and wait. Okay, my route's dead. Let me go do something else to help the quarterback out. So if the quarterback had scrambled, longer this way, he was already breaking his route to the open spot that way. So that shows me he's versed in scramble drill. But with Jordan Travis as your quarterback, you better be versed in scramble drill because Jordan ain't going to stay in one spot too much long. Now, this is one of the reasons why I love this cat right here. Slot fade. Go get it. This is a missed time jump now. This is a missed time jump. Let's watch it. He jumps a little bit early and still has the wherewithal to high point this ball and go get it on a missed time jump, because that's not the highest he can get up. He's coming down when he catches this ball. He at his highest point now. Now he's descending. He's descending now. And still goes and gets it. He pretty much don't catch this ball until now. And he already has a foot on the ground. Enough concentration while fighting the DB. The DB has a valiant effort to try to get this ball out of there. The DB is doing exactly what he's taught. The DB has stuck his hands between the arms of the wide receiver and is trying to rake the ball out. And Coleman still comes down with this ball. This is perfect technique by the DB. He's doing exactly what they're taught to do. Stick your hands between the receiver's arms and rake it out. Coleman still finds a way to come down with this ball. And like I always say, if you're new to the channel, I say this all the time. Sometimes good offense beats good defense. No matter how well you play defense, if you got a better offensive player, you just gonna lose sometimes. No matter how well you defend Steph Curry, he can take 3 steps back and shoot an 85-foot jump shot, and you lose. Talk about contested catches. Again, the draft network saying about you don't get a lot of separation. Well, when you this athletic, sometimes you just don't get separation, but you can go get balls. And this is one of those instances. He's running a post route. Is it the greatest route? No. But look at it. It's not the greatest route. DB's on him. Both of them go up forward. He comes down with it. Over the shoulder catch. Great concentration. Both of them try to high point it. DB swipes at it. He comes down with it. 40, 50-yard catch. Game changer. So even if they don't go on to score, they flip the field with just this one catch. Because they found a one-on-one matchup, and you win your one-on-ones, you can win in football. You win your one-on-ones, you can win in football. When you get the one-on-ones and you win them, you can win in football. And we'll close out with this one right here. The body control. Your jump balls ain't all about, just out jumping people. You just have good body control. He ain't had to high point this one, but he had enough wherewithal to just turn his body and put his back to the defender and shield the defender from the ball. Look at him just shield the defender from the ball. That's it. And come down with both feet in. I mean, I haven't looked at a bunch of receivers yet, but this cat right here is this dude pretty good. And is he Marvin Harrison Jr.? No, but he's pretty darn good to me. And for the stuff that I feel like teams need nowadays, you need a guy that can be a threat in the red zone. Obviously, he can do that, as by what we're looking at right now. Can he be a threat from 20 to 20? Yes, he can do that with, pretty good route running, making contested catches. Yes. So, to me, he's one of the better receivers in this draft class. And keep in mind, he can do you some special teams work with too, because he returned punts for Florida State also. So, if he's not polished enough to crack your wide receiver group to start with, put him on special teams until he do the final things that's required of your wide receiver group to get on the field. And you got a guy. I think he's a guy. I really do. And so this is Keon Coleman, wide receiver from Florida State, 6'4", 215 pounds. Had 15 catches for about 650 or so yardage. And don't quote me on that. I forgot the number. 11 touchdowns. And this is Coach Evans with more Sip to Tally. I appreciate you guys for being here. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with me. And remember, it's film, then more film, because the film don't lie. And I appreciate y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace and love.